Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar with Booz Allen. Very excited to have you on the line today. We are going to kick off formally in just a minute, but I so appreciate your time and look forward to chatting. So grab your last cup of coffee, some water, and be ready to have your questions answered with Booz Allen. So we're going to be talking more about careers, IC transformation, the Booz Allen career journey. It's a great chance to get your questions answered and talk to folks who are really working on the cutting edge of national security and for the intelligence community with Booz Allen. So again, oh, my clock just clicked over, so we're ready to go. I never start these too early because I know I've never joined a webinar on time in my life, so I don't want to do that. I don't want any of you to miss a single minute of the action, but now that we are starting, again, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lindy Kaiser. I am with clearancejobs.com and so excited to really have a team of amazing professionals here today with Booz Allen. We've done a few of these webinars. They keep getting better, so no pressure, guys, but I expect this to be the best conversation we've had to date, talking about the way Booz Allen is helping to facilitate the IC's digital transformation. So we're talking a ton about tech talent, hiring. If you are looking for a career opportunity, Booz Allen has some amazing opportunities to work in and with missions that you won't be able to do anywhere else. So I'm going to introduce our panelists. First, we have Kirsten Guillaume. She is the Director of Portfolio Talent Management. We also have Stephanie Jenkins, Director of Portfolio Talent Lead. David Keppel, Director and Functional Talent Lead. And Serene Spoerl, a Senior Associate for Talent Acquisition. Again, all with Booz Allen. So this is an interactive webinar today. If you notice your panel on the right-hand side of the screen, there is a place that you can type in your questions. If you have any questions for any of our panelists as we're going through today, please type them into the chat function. We may not have a chance to get to every question today. If we don't, we will be following up with you after the webinar. So if you have a question, if you're interested in some specific question, type that in the question box. Don't miss this opportunity to engage with this team and with Booz Allen as a part of this community. So again, this is a moderated Q&A. I will be taking your questions. So again, type them into that chat function. And we're going to be talking to all of our panelists today and really excited to hear what they have to say. So first, just kind of wanted to talk about what is this IC digital transformation mission and what does it look like to work in this space for Booz Allen? And I wanted to kick that over to you, Kirsten, to start with that question. So just give a little bit more about the national security mission and what it is that you do with Booz Allen.
Sure, thanks. I'm excited to be here, so thank you for having me. So in our national security mission space, we really have an opportunity to protect our national security on a variety of contracts across our IC and DoD customers. So we have contracts with where we need functional expertise across a wide array of areas such as mission and operations, engineering and science, digital support. So that includes software development or things such as software development, cloud, data science, machine learning, AI. So a lot of different opportunities. We're really looking for cleared talent to help us to continue to grow across those opportunities. People who have or are willing to get clearances and obtain polys if necessary, work in cleared spaces, SCIF spaces, and lastly, you know, willing to lean forward and perform at the highest level on our contracts. So that's kind of a high level overview.
I love it. And now I'd like to get to know each of you individually a little bit more. So again, I'll start with you, Kirsten. Just kind of talk about what your role is and how you got your start with Booz Allen.
Sure. So again, I'm a director here at Booz Allen. I am over a portfolio over software development contracts for NRO customer. I'm also our functional capability lead for digital. So that includes helping to hire for digital and leading collaboration on our digital efforts across the account. So I started with Booz Allen 11.5 years ago. I came to Booz Allen because the company I was at prior to Booz Allen, I felt kind of stuck in my career. I felt like I didn't have room to move. I was in a single, this is the job you're hired for, and that's what we need you to do. There was no opportunity to find something more in line with my career goals. And so I wanted to move to a company that that gave those opportunities. And I was definitely successful in finding that by moving to Booz Allen.
Awesome. So same question, David. How did you get your start with Booz Allen, and what do you do today?
I was going to let ladies go first. So Stephanie, can I call an audible?
Oh, sure. Go for it.
Stephanie, go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm really glad to be here with you all today. I've been with Booz Allen for 26 years. I'm currently supporting the national security sector, national agencies team. And I wear many hats within our organizational team here. I'm currently the program manager for our research contract within one of our intelligence community organizations. And it's one of the largest contracts that we actually have with that organization. So I've got, about, approximately, 250 plus staff in various areas, from software development to scientists to systems engineers. So, very digitally focused, but also, those that are interested from a scientist perspective as well. In addition to that, I lead a lot of the recruiting efforts and talent initiatives as well, along with leading some of our integrated delivery team of efforts from a research perspective. So I support a lot of business development types of efforts. Where we're working to go after captures and to provide growth for efforts for the firm, and lastly, I also lead and participate in a lot of our DEI efforts as well across both the cleared space and just across the firm in general. So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Dave. Oh, Serene, sorry.
You're too polite.
Yeah. So I've been with Booz Allen quite a while. So I'm going on 15 years. And for almost 14 of those years, I was actually in the intel space, supporting the Defense Intelligence Agency stand up their talent management system. And a big component of that was the digital. So we were launching the ServiceNow and using digital in order to transform the way we did talent management. So that's always been my passion, has been around talent management and specifically in the IC. And then about a year ago was given an opportunity to do that for Booz Allen. So we were doing it for our clients and we were transforming the way that they ran their talent programs. And we really had an opportunity to bring those best practices back home right into Booz Allen. And so what I'm trying to do is infuse, again, those same strategies that involve digital, that involve automation and process optimization, but still with that high touch candidate experience. And so it's been a really great, unique opportunity to be able to do that now directly for Booz Allen.
David, there's nowhere to run. It's your turn.
All right, cool. So I graduated from Virginia Tech in the summer of 2001. So I started working on air traffic control systems for Raytheon in August of 2001. So I may be dating myself here, but people know what happened about 3 weeks after that. And basically Raytheon said, if you can get a clearance, go get a clearance because you need to go. We need you there, right? And I spent some really cool missions, obviously classified world. I'm not gonna be able to talk a whole lot of them. I spent some really cool missions there, but similar to Kirsten, I ran into, you're the software engineer, go make the computer work, nerd, right? And not so much, I was like, how does that happen? How does that work? How does that work? And I always love telling the story because I went to a happy hour on a very bad day with some friends, and they said, hey, you know, Booz Allen does this stuff. And I was like, no, you don't do that, you do that. And they're like, yeah, we do both of that. And I was like, wait, what? You don't have to just be one thing here? And so it's fun to hear Stephanie, Kirsten, and Serene talking about all the different kind of hats they're wearing here and all the different things. And that attracted me to Booz Allen 16, 17 years ago. And that's where I'm at today. Is I'm leading an IDT program or a portfolio of programs on an IDT for what we call mission software frameworks. So that is delivering enterprise scale platforms and cloud and DevOps types delivery for our clients' solutions, which helps us touch a lot of different missions and a lot of different pieces. I also had the opportunity to work with all three of these amazing women as the functional talent lead for the national security sector. So that means I get to do a lot of the implementation and the hiring plans and the goals and driving this team to finding the right resources, because that is the biggest gap in the world right now, is not just finding the right resources, but getting them right training, putting people in a successful path, because that is how Booz Allen is successful, is making our people super successful. And so that is what everybody on this call is 100% focused on, is making our people successful.
Absolutely.
I love it. 50+ years of Booz Allen experience on this call, not to age or date anybody, but that is pretty significant, and you don't find it often in our industry. And I think it allows the Booz Allen culture to speak for itself, because you have options and opportunities, so you don't stay with a company that's not really investing in you and showing you the value. And across all of these calls, I mean, that's pretty standard when I talk to folks at Booz Allen, is that you get there and you stay, and you find different opportunities. So that's always great to see. So talk a little specifically, again, we're talking about the cleared space. We're in the cleared space here. What are some of the challenges that you're tackling in the cleared space? Stephanie, can you speak to some of those more specifically?
Sure. So Booz Allen is a firm that's mission driven. So in terms of mission support, we are at the forefront of cutting edge technology efforts, to include software development modernizations and taking our clients into multi-cloud environments as well. And as I think about the work that I do from a research perspective, I mean, we are developing applications and tools, that improve the speed and accuracy of delivery to our energy analyst clients. We are supporting, cloud initiatives and cloud efforts that are, are allowing us to provide resources to, those that are in other geo-region and locations, around the country. So, we're looking for folks, like yourselves that, want to take this journey of innovation and evolution with us. We are vested because we want to ensure that we are providing, top quality service and support to the warfighters and to the analysts as well. So, we are invested because we want to contribute, at a high standard when it comes down to protecting our nation. So finding staff with the right cloud skills, software development skills, those are all things that are key to our success. And oftentimes, we may have some challenges along the way as far as finding those right skill sets. But again, we're here to bring in that top quality talent. So not only are we invested in our work, but we Booz Allen are invested in our people as well, and the work that we support. So we'll get a little bit more into detail a little bit later, but things around training and certifications and mentorships, those are all the things that have kept me here at Booz Allen for the 26 years that I've been here. So again, really cool work, very cool clients. And just an array of opportunities across the digital space.
Yeah, that was a question we already had come in. Wow, Stephanie, 26 years, what made you stay? So I appreciate that you already kind of teased that a little bit, some of the work that you've gotten to do and some of the missions and that mission focus. So again, maybe we'll ask you more about that later, but I also wanted to ask David and Kirsten this question too, and kind of talk about the digital transformation piece. So what are some of the aspects of digital transformation and how that looks at Booz Allen? Kirsten, I'll start with you.
Sure. So Booz Allen is leaning in several ways for digital transformation, especially within the IC. So one of the big ways that we're leaning forward, what we're doing right here, we're leaning forward, we're trying to find talent at all skill levels. And then I'm sure Dave will touch on this in more detail, but we have a lot of programs to upskill staff. So technical excellence programs are what we call them. They're for a variety of different skill sets and specific kind of functional skill sets to grow staff and enable them to really be successful here at Booz Allen and to find a billable position quickly upon exiting those programs. They're also available to staff who are working a full-time billable program to do kind of outside of it. There's a ton of self-paced training that Booz Allen provides across the technologies and tries to, really create opportunities with different companies to make sure that we're at the forefront of getting that training and at the best price possible for staff. So you can pay for that through a flex ed program. There's also strategic investment opportunities. So Booz Allen hosts these projects that we know will be at the cutting edge of maybe technology that's coming out, or a solution that we know our customers can really use. And so we invest a lot of money into that. It's an opportunity for staff to work on a project internal to Booz Allen as well, to kind of gain more skills, and then we can offer that up to our customers. And then lastly, we have functional capability team. So I had mentioned as a digital functional capability team lead, and we have TXGs at the firm level. And both of those allow for you to kind of integrate with people of a common skill set or career growth trajectory issue, as well as to collaborate across the firm so that we are growing the business and gaining efficiencies. Part of the functional capability team is hiring as well. So bringing in the highest quality skill sets we can find within this cleared community. Over
awesome.
to you.
So same question to you, David, kind of talk about the digital transformation mission.
Very good. So I'd say one of Booz Allen's greatest strengths is the agility and ability to flex. As anybody knows, software capabilities, solutions, everything is changing so fast. We can't be married to things that are 40 years old. We can't be married to that. So Booz Allen is always pushing the edge and always finding that. And that's one of the things that excites me about Booz Allen is we are able to use strategic investment. We're able to utilize our collaboration, utilize our teams across, utilize our people who are on the front end, the analysts. Booz Allen has so much knowledge about what the mission needs, and to bring that back to the nerds, that's me, 100% of the nerds, and how do I make this better? How do I automate it? How do I move into data science? How do I understand this data? How do I collect the data? How do I enable the data? And Booz Allen is absolutely dedicated to that, and we've hit a pretty sweet spot in the community of doing it that way. And we also understand what the biggest gap there, 1000%, is having the right skills and the right people with the right clearance. And so, as Kirsten mentioned, like the Tech Excellence Program, we love, ex-military. If you're leaving the military and you're an operations folks, or you're system administration, or things like that, and you're close to the cloud, but you're like, what is this cloud thing? I hear I should be in it, and so that's where we need you. We need smart people. We need their best clearance. We need them with capabilities that they can get started, and we'll tie you into the coolest, latest stuff. And the coolest, latest stuff just keeps changing and keeps getting faster and faster ahead of you. So that's why it's so important for our training and our collaboration to marry with our solutions and the teams that we've got.
Yeah, I've heard success come up over and over. It's kind of one of the buzzwords I would say in terms of what Booz Allen is doing and how you move forward with the work that you're doing. So I wanted to kind of punt that one to you too, Serene. So talk about what it takes to be successful, and then also how you define success and maybe how that's unique to the culture at Booz Allen.
Yeah, so one of the things that I consistently tell people when they're like, what is the differentiator for Booz Allen? We are a team organization. This is a team sport. And so at some other organizations, it's, well, let me do more work. Let me, get one over on the next person. I have to bump them out in order to succeed and level up, right? It is not like that at Booz Allen. It is whole ship rises. And so Booz Allen infuses that in its culture at every level. Our performance metrics are, did the whole team rise? Are the way we're rated and our annual assessments and the way we do everything is collectively ingenuity. That's one of our purpose and values, is collective ingenuity. And how did you help other organizations succeed? So I just happen to be one of those kind of people that values that above all else. I'll tell you a funny little anecdote. So I have children, And I actually don't like playing a lot of the board games that are out in the market, because inevitably someone's the winner, all the others are losers. They all run upstairs crying, and everyone's ready. So I was always a team sport. I was, field hockey, and I like to play on a team where it was, you're all helping each other. You all have your strengths. Some people, have their, weaknesses, and you're all collectively coming together to advance the ball. And Booz Allen infuses that in the way their organization works at every level. So I'd say that is like if you are looking for that kind of camaraderie, this is the right organization for you. So that's what I always, tell people. And then to answer the question about how can you be successful, impact. So we are literally taught from day one at Booz Allen, you do not write a sentence unless you can demonstrate the impact. So you don't say like, oh, well, I did 500 of this or 1,000 of that. What was the impact, right? And Booz Allen is always about moving the needle forward. Even if it's incrementally, how are you moving the needle forward? How are you progressing? To Dave's point about how are you innovating? How are you changing things up? How are you bringing the next level cutting edge? How are you improving yourself? Bringing new skills to the table. And so if you can demonstrate and want to be somewhere that rewards, and again, is looking for that impact, that is the way we measure success here.
I love it. You want to be on a team. You only want to be on the team if they're full of a bunch of winners like you guys, though. I want to be on Serene's team. Sign me up. And David's got trophies behind him. So you got trophies. Join the Booz Allen team because they're in it to win it. That's what I'm hearing. So
I will 100% say that every super senior VP that you have here, you say, how'd you get there? It's like, I had this amazing team with me. It's every single one. There's no one who did this by themselves.
I love it. And that ties directly into my next question, which I'm going to pivot to you, Kirsten and Stephanie, which is kind of around, so why is Booz Allen a special place to work, especially as a cleared technologist? Because we know there is competition in this space. We talk about, moving people into this sector. There's only so many people who have the cleared technical experience sometimes for these positions. And what sets Booz Allen apart for those candidates with those kind of technical cleared skills? Kirsten, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so I'm going to start a little bit broader. And this is, my staff, my teams have heard this a million times. And we hire people for a career, not for a single rec or a single contract. And so and not only do we hire you for a career, you get to own that career and that path. So you have a lot of advocates when you join who are there to help you find the right opportunity for you, or maybe growth in that opportunity. So it's not, oh, I got here, I don't love what I'm doing, and now I feel stuck and I have to leave Booz Allen. You look within Booz Allen, you work with your program manager, your career manager, your job leader. There's so many advocates for you. So that's really big, is you actually have a career you get to own. You get to lean forward and really shape that. I find that the best way to grow at Booz Allen is just to lean in, help out, jump into whatever you're interested in, and you get to grow your career the way you want to. You also have a lot of mentorship and leadership there to help you along the way. From more of a technical skill set specifically, we have a lot of really cool technical work that supports the mission. So not only is it really exciting from the technical perspective, but it's exciting from the impact perspective that you're making from just the missions that you're supporting. So Booz Allen provides a ton of training, I mentioned already, that you can always lean forward and take advantage of. There's, I guess, I've gone around a few times and talked to staff asking them this very question, and my favorite answer that I receive quite frequently is that, again, this team mentality, people want to help you grow. And so if you're leaning forward, you have these senior technical colleagues that want to help you grow as well, and so mentor you on the technical skill sets in addition to any training you're taking. So I'll hand it over to you, Stephanie, with that.
Sure. I mean, what you've said really ties into my story. Again, 26 years at Booz Allen, and I'm often asked, what has kept me here for those 26 years. And I sum it up into 3 categories. The first is mission for me. I'm very, 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 very mission focused. So having the opportunity to be able to support so many missions over the years. I started off, as a software engineer, and I thought that I'd be coding until today. I mean, up until today. If you had asked me when I was in college, what I'd be doing right now at this age, I would have said, yeah, sitting behind a machine and coding. But I had leadership that looked and said, hey, Stephanie, I'm going to pull you out of your comfort zone. And I became a task lead, and then a functional lead, and then a deputy PM. So as Kirsten mentioned, it's really about building and having the opportunity to grow from a career perspective. I mean, I have supported at least 7 or 8 or 9, I think around 9 different organizations, throughout my career, from a Booz Allen perspective. I mean, I've done, Army, Navy, DIA, FBI, you name it. And again, I've been able to take what I've learned from one part and be able to, take that into another organization and still being able to support that mission. The second is around the people and the leadership that I've had. I mean, I have had some awesome mentors throughout my career. And, again, it's really been about the team and the, team effort. And, I think back to when I worked directly with one of our VPs now who, Serene and, he and I were, on that team together, and we helped, our clients, grow and move in an innovative fashion. And to have leaders that understand the organizations, that understand the technology, that understand the vision of the organizations that we are supporting, has been extremely important as well. And then, again, thirdly, around, again, career growth, the training that I've been provided. There's never been an opportunity from a training perspective that I've been denied in 26 years. I have a host of certifications. I received my master's degree from Johns Hopkins University through Booz Allen. And it was through actually a Booz Allen cohort. And so they brought the university to us. And, again, it was just an opportunity, for myself to continue to grow from a career perspective. So again, mission, the people, and the opportunity, to grow from a career perspective, has just been, again, what has allowed me, to continue to, stay here. And I'm not just supported in the Northern Virginia area. I've actually supported in our, in one of our other geo-region locations. My husband got a job, and we had to move to Charleston, South Carolina. So I was able to, go and support Booz Allen from our Charleston Digital Hub office there for 4.5 years. And, again, that's where I was, really became ingrained in the DoD community, as well. So again, just the impact that I've been able to have, from a mission perspective across so many different organizations, has, truly been, key and what makes this a special place for me.
I love it. If you're filling your Booz Allen bingo card, I'm hearing mission, teamwork, leadership, training, growth. I mean, kind of all the things that you're looking for in a career. It's not going to be a drinking game, David. I'm sorry. I'm told I'm not allowed to play those during webinars, but you could do that on your own time. If you're working from home, I'm not going to.
Our core values, so that's good that you're saying that. But
I also want to talk about kind of you've already touched on this, all of you, kind of how your career is personally rewarding to you. But I want to continue the arc of that. I'm going to start with you, David. So kind of talk about what you found to be really personally rewarding for the work that you've done. It sounds like working in national security has always been kind of a personally rewarding experience for you. You've had a lot of unique opportunities to work in the classified space. How has Booz Allen helped you to do that as well?
That's a very, very good question. And it's part of kind of what they've been said, like Stephanie said, is you have the ability to impact multiple missions and multiple teams if you want to. it's what Kirsten said. What is your career? So when you get an opportunity, you say yes. That's something I'm interested in. That's what I want to do. There's always something. There's always something at Booz Allen that you can get engaged with, that you can get be a part of. And so about we'll say 5-6 years ago, I had an opportunity to go run one of our classified programs. I can't get too specific here, unfortunately. One of our classified programs that the director of the client, Jesus, all right, the director of the client said is impossible. We will never make this successful. It dealt with nobody. People thought the cloud didn't work, containers didn't work. That nobody's ever going to get this to work. The political arrangement around it is never going to work. And after 18 months, my team delivered, and we hit operational capability that is based all in the cloud for was a mission management of managing things that are flying around the earth. So we're very kind of space-based here for a lot of our day job. And so that literally went from the kudos we got from the client after that was, we were laughing at you 6 months ago because you could not do this. This was never going to happen. And to kind of continually hear that from everybody in the client space, from the users, from the externals, from everybody, said, you will never make this work. And the team put their head down and they delivered. And that was because we worked with the client, we worked with externals, we worked with the users, we worked with the best team on the planet, and we absolutely nailed it. And while I have to be very vague about that, yeah, it was cool. I even saw the program on the news one day, and I was like, that's how damn good we got, is CNN's talking about us. And I obviously can't relay it, but they were talking about something that we were able to achieve. So again, back to we were able to innovate and push the boundaries and make a huge impact to back to the mission, and making things real and making things happen.
Yeah. And I love that. And that gets back to like, what is unique about national security? I think sometimes you don't do as good of a job about communicating that, again, in the technology space. Of we still have missions within national security and problems, that unsolvable problems. I think sometimes that, you look at like, well, where are there new things happening? I mean, we don't expect that, always to be in the government. But like you said, these unique problem sets that involve different sectors coming together, which requires that teamwork that you have at Booz Allen. And you really can be a part of like, really tackling a problem. So if you're one of those tech professionals out there who's looking for a new challenge and who wants to innovate and wants to be on a team making it happen, it sounds like these folks have an opportunity for you. So kind of same question to you, Kirsten, talking about kind of the personally rewarding aspect of working for Booz Allen.
Yeah, sure. So at a high level, similar to what Dave was saying, just the contracts we work, we're making an impact. We are protecting our national security. We are both directly and indirectly. We are partnering with the men and women who have joined the armed forces to serve our country, to make sure that what we are doing is keeping them safe when they're overseas. It's keeping our country safe. From a Booz Allen specific kind of what excites me is, we've touched on it a few times. One, the team collaboration. So like Stephanie and I, for example, work in 2 different accounts, but we are on calls and engaging through emails regularly. If we need some help on our contract, like, do you have these resources available? Or if we have a staff available, emailing back and forth saying, hey, I have this staff available. Do you have any openings where they'd be a good fit? So that team collaboration again. The other thing that I think is really unique to Booz Allen, and I don't know if it's been mentioned yet, but a lot of times if a contract's coming to an end at other companies, people receive some type of letter like lack of work or something like that, saying you have this much time and you need to go find, you'll need to transition out, and you don't get much time. At Booz Allen, everyone rallies together. The whole firm rallies to make sure that we are placing staff and we are finding homes for them. And it is not on an individual alone to find their next opportunity. They have a team around them helping them to find opportunities at the firm and placement. So again, we hired you for a career. We're part of that team for you. We want to help place you once you've come into the firm.
I love it. Stephanie or Serene, did you have anything to add on that one too?
Just quickly, I'll say that, one of the most rewarding parts for me has been around, developing partnerships and relationships and client trust. Going into, an organization, that you may have not, been a part of before, but, going in there and working side by side with, that client or, or with that customer, and then gaining their trust. And then for them to, then you become, that, advisor to them, and you're able to, bring in, innovative ideas and bring in innovative talent, and they trust you. I mean, again, that has been, extremely rewarding for myself. In a lot of instances, is just, gaining that trust from our clients, and then again being able to go out and get the talent that's needed to bring in to support those particular missions.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add is just pulling the thread on what everyone else has said, which is, at the end of the day, I feel like I made an impact. Like, I can walk away knowing that what I did, helped to progress a mission, helped a client for national security, helped a team member. So like, what I did mattered. And that for me is my work currency, right? So when I am saying, like, what do I value? I want to know that at the end of the day, the work that I did mattered. And that's why I've stayed at Booz Allen for 15 years. When I first joined the organization, I thought I'd be, to each his own, but I thought I'd be a job hopper, right? I thought I'd stay 2 years, go to something else. 15 years later, I'm still here because I was given different opportunities. I was given the support, and what I do, I feel matters, and the people around me make it known that it matters. And for me, that was the real sticking point on why Booz
Allen. And that's a secret sauce too, because a lot of companies will say that, but you kind of know it when you experience it, right? If the culture is actually, supporting you and respects what you do and values you, that makes a huge difference. So I do want to remind folks, I'm seeing the questions come in. A lot of them are about specific career opportunities. So for a lot of those, we will follow up kind of after the fact and touch base one-on-one. But if you have questions, definitely type them into the chat. We will take your questions. I did get a question that I thought was worth addressing here. Rio, Georgia Tech, getting ready to graduate, junior wargaming analyst position, identified his position on the Booz Allen website, which is our love language. You're not just like qualified for every job, found one, but is also asking, like, how do you set yourself apart as a candidate? And I think that speaks to some of the other questions we've had. So I think it could be a chance for several of you to chime into this, because there are things. It's not generally enough just to apply for positions today. I mean, it can be, but there's other things to do to kind of set yourself apart. And to show you that you have the skill set out there. So maybe Stephanie, I'll start with you, but then if anybody else wants to chime in, somebody's applying, or when you're looking for talent on your teams, kind of what is something that stands out to you, whether it's through an application or a resume, or even when you meet somebody?
A combination of all those things, actually. From a resume perspective, it's really, when I, look at that resume, it's about the skills, of course, that that an individual, has provided, and during the interviewing, process, it's really around, how well an individual, can articulate, some of the, impact and accomplishments that, they may have had, during their, various experiences. So I'd say it's a combination of all those things.
Yeah, if I could just add to that, we are looking for people that are hungry. We are looking for people that want to get involved, that want to get into it, right? So we say, like, we want them to get into it. So we are looking for people that really, again, want to advance that ball, make an impact, not just the complacent person. I mean, there's roles for that too, but if you really want to set yourself apart, we are looking for people that really want to go get at it. And then I'll add, I had already discussed one of the things I love about Booz Allen, and I'll just reiterate that if you're applying in your resume, in your interviews, demonstrate that impact. So when you're writing your resume, instead of just listing all the things that you did, include what the impact was. How how did it serve the organization? How did it move the ball forward? How did it help the mission? And so I think that really is what we're looking for. What did you do to, again, drive that success?
Yeah, we had an unsolicited comment in support of what Stephanie had said earlier, that you can always count on Booz Allen to provide objectivity and innovation when I'm sitting with them in meetings. So whoever you are, that was an endorsement. But I love that, the objectivity too. So maybe kind of, speak to, I don't know if any of you can speak to that, as a part of the culture collaboration that you do. What does that kind of look like to bring objectivity and innovation into the mission? Because that's not necessary. I think technologists want that, but sometimes in the defense industry, we don't always convey that we are looking for collaborative, innovative ideas to come into this space. Dave's thinking. You're thinking, David. Got any thoughts on bringing innovation to the table and what you do?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm trying to balance the objectivity with innovation, right? That's always a tough thing. And as you know, Booz Allen's also very big on like your own skill profile and what you bring. So like my Clifton strengths or whatever is futuristic. Like I push the edge no matter what, and so I need people to help balance that objectivity, because I say, back to it's proven in the past is I can do it, right? My team can do it. We can deliver this for you. And so we have to balance that out, but we're always pushing here, right? And I'm pushing my team very hard to do that innovation. Is what is new? How do we get the client to believe us that AI ML is a real thing, and data science provides value, and looking at the data and all the things underneath the world, and that's kind of where we're getting now. And you can ask Serene. I email her daily about the data here, right? And that's where we're getting with innovation and objectivity. We're losing the ability to have a gut feeling on things, right? And Booz Allen is all in on data, right? And that's where you get objectivity. Is not just I think this isn't right. Is look, it's right because of all this says it's right, right? And you can play with data to make it right sometimes, but most of the time it's hard to argue with what the data is providing. And so that's where you can give real data-driven objectivity into building out innovation to show how it gets you ahead, right?
And I had a question come in about moving up, and then also about reskilling. So I'll do both of those, so you can kind of marinate on both those and who's going to be my victim for each of those. So maybe talk about moving into like a supervisory position, or what does kind of upward mobility track look like? How do you step into those more senior roles? And I think that can be an issue, especially for technologists, right? And you kind of spoke to that earlier, David. Sometimes you're the really great engineer, but you want to expand your skill set, move into management or supervisory roles. Does Booz Allen have kind of a process for that, or what does that look like?
I will say the best way to do that is a very organic way, right? Because back to that, like at my previous role, they said, you're the engineer, stop, right? At Booz Allen, they go, great. How can I help you move into this role? You're showing that you're doing this work. We see the potential in you, and you're showing it. And you actually came to me and said, hey, I want to do this. And that's where I want to be. So similar to Stephanie, I'm a software engineer. I was a Scrum Master. I was a solutions architect. I got into the business development stuff. I got into a program management role. And you can still stay in that software engineering world without losing your technical ability and your technical, because that is where Booz Allen is pushing. Is you have to have, up to our sector president, is you have to have the bona fides. You have to have the things on your resume that says, when I'm talking about digital, I know what I'm not just making things up. I have the backing behind me. And so that's where, if people want to move into leadership positions here, if you've got the foundation, you do very, very well here.
Yeah, and the only thing I'll add to that, Dave, is we also have tracks, right? So there is very technical tracks. If you want to stay more technically aligned, you can advance through your career staying technical. We have more leadership tracks. If you want to move over to more of the business side of the house and do more of that leadership, and you can go back and forth, right? You can decide, I want to do this for a little bit and that. And so again, there is a career path for everyone. And I will absolutely hands down say it is not someone has to vacate a billet in order for you to move into that seat. It is you create your opportunities. There's an unlimited number of opportunities and advancement. There is no one getting in your way except yourself, right? So you can create those opportunities for yourself, and Booz Allen will reward you by giving you more leadership, more opportunity, more, in your career advancement and your path.
Awesome. And then Nathan had talked about, what if you're coming out, you have a secret clearance, you have military experience, but you have limited professional experience on your resume. And we see this scenario a lot at clearance jobs. So maybe Stephanie can speak to that a little bit. Like, what is maybe upskilling, or saying, like, I have some of the buckets, but I see a lot of positions that I know I need to upskill or reskill some of my military skills or translate them to get them into a fit that's right for one of these career opportunities that I really want to take advantage of at Booz Allen.
We have quite a few, folks that, of course, come to Booz Allen, and they, are coming in from a military perspective. I will say that I've heard from, many that transition has been, a very smooth process. And why? And it's been, several things that have played, into those, parts and pieces. They've come in and they've been given, training, from the business side of the house, from that perspective. In addition to that, they've been provided mentorship, along the way in, how to continue to grow and, to take, the parts and pieces that they may have learned from being an imagery analyst, and taking that and turning that into the business side, from the perspective of them wanting to go up that leadership chain from a business perspective. So again, it's really the opportunities that they've been provided from a training perspective, and we have lots of opportunities. We have Udemy out there, where there are courses that that you can go out and take from a leadership perspective, from a consulting perspective, from a technology perspective as well. And then also, getting into some of the excellence programs and things that we have that the firm has to offer as well. But I just remember talking to a few that have come in and along the way, and those have been some of the things that they said that have been really key, is the training and the mentorship pieces.
Yeah, and we had a question come in from Allison asking about, what are some of the challenges that Booz Allen sees happening in the future, and how are you preparing to address those? So that can tie to maybe like skills gaps that you're looking to fill now, or even just broader, like, so part of this digital transformation conversation we're happening, are there programs, are there, again, challenges, pretty broad, so choose your own adventure, Kirsten, that you're kind of looking to help your clients and your partners address moving forward?
Yeah, so I think a challenge is definitely finding people who have the clearances that we need, and the skills skill sets. So a lot of people who are coming straight out of school don't seem to be as interested in getting clearances necessarily. Sometimes we're getting people with the clearances who don't have the skill set. So again, going back to the programs Booz Allen has in place, they have upskilling programs, and we have been hiring people in to participate in the programs. That is their job for the first 4 to 8 weeks that they're here, is just going to this training class every day and learning new skill sets. And so Booz Allen's definitely trying to lean forward there. We're also trying to get in with the clients and think creatively on how to bring in staff that maybe don't have the poly on day one, but maybe where can we work through the pipeline and still have them adding value in the meantime until they have it. So we're definitely trying to be creative, but clearances is one challenge for sure that we're facing right now.
Yeah. Well, if clearance jobs can help, so we'd love to help you. So if you're, again, we had the Georgia Tech, Rio's on the line here. He already has his clearance, but tell your friends it's not as cumbersome as you think. Like, the timelines are getting better. If you're willing to invest the time in getting a clearance, there are options out there. So I think presenting yourself as a clearable candidate can help that pathway a lot. So I think there's a lot of changing policies around the clearance process to hopefully make that onboarding easier. So if you happen to join this and you happen to not be cleared, just know, I mean, we are here to help, and I think there's better pathways into a cleared career than there have been in the past. So I'm trying to get all those technologists that are supposedly out there looking for jobs now. I mean, call me, because we will find a pathway to get you cleared if you have the right skill set, right? It's because it's finding those two things and marrying them together, and I think there's opportunities for that. We always get the question every time. I warned you in advance. So somebody is asking, hey, can you actually work? They were kind enough to say hybrid. So I think there's a lot of expectation that people, you know, if you're here, you say, I'm supporting the intelligence community, I might not be expecting a full-time, you know, remote work, but there is this demand for flexibility now. So kind of talk to, even for something as, I mean, we've heard that, again, if I would take a shot every time I heard classified out of David's mouth today, but there's a lot of classified programs happening here. So can you still work hybrid or have some remote work flexibility, and what does that look like on any of your teams?
I guess I'll
Go ahead.
I'll kick it off. I will say that you know, it's really, I mean, you know, with COVID and you know coming out of that, of course, you know, there is definitely the desires for you know many to you know be able to work either remote and or hybrid. Some of the things that we've been doing from a client perspective, I mean, even, you know, before the COVID era as well, was, you know, to bring in concepts of developing low and moving high. You know, so, you know, that you know can provide you know some opportunities from the flexibility of you know being able to do some at the you know unclassified level. You know, I will say that on the contract that I support, it is on a project by project, position by position basis. But we do have some. I mean, we do have some flexibility. We were able to show this client that, you know, during the COVID era, that we were able to do a lot of, you know, to do some teleworking, you know, in understanding that, you know, we have no fully remote positions, but you know, again, being able to do, you know, some of that, you know, work at the unclassified level, and then being able, you know, to come in and move it up to the, you know, high, you know, is, you know, definitely, you know, something that we have been working towards and that we have been trending towards, and that we do have some of. But again, contract by contract, you know, basis, client by client basis, and, you know, even for myself, it's on a position by position basis. So. Do keep that
just to add to that, Stephanie, you know, in addition to these fabulous directors on the call who are doing that on a client by client contract basis, we are also partnering with colleagues like, you know, Clearance Jobs to look at how we can transform the way we do clear talent pipeline, the future of clear talent across government. So we are looking at where we can infuse new contract language around hybrid delivery, where we can add additional opportunities for pipelining. Right, so you're uncleared, but you're on a cleared contract, and then you work towards your clearance, but you're still supporting that contract in some kind of way. We understand that this market has shifted with the combination of the pandemic and just the supply and demand and everything like that. We understand that this market has shifted, and we need to come up with solutions that go across contracts and individual eaches and everys to really provide those flexibilities where we can. And we can't in every situation, but where we can, we are really trying to advance that more holistically across our customers and our clients.
I'm gonna jump in real fast here, because I'm probably the worst person on the planet to talk about remote, because since day one of COVID, I said, no, I'm going to work. Like, I love the people I work with. As Booz Allen is a large firm, 30,000 people, but we still have very strong like connections. You know, that's what Booz Allen was built on for 115 years, I probably should know how many years, but anyway, 100+ years was built on networking and connections and people skills, and that's what drives me on a almost daily basis here. I've got, you know, I was joking I was gonna bring this up. I've got my softball team here. We've got, you know, walking around, being in a room together, like all those kind of little connectivity events. which is fun that you hear.
Parties.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the milkshakes. Yeah, we do things together here, and it just feels like it. I felt safer coming to work during COVID than I did doing anything else, because this is where my family was, and this is where the people I love and are closest to are at, and so this is where I would choose to be. I understand what remote gives you from a flexibility standpoint. We also have other ways to do that. We have a very flexible work schedule here, so kind of that whole I have to take Friday afternoon off. All right, well, we'll work with you, right? You can come in early, you can work extra, you can take PTO. We have right. We have all sorts of different options on ways to make things flexible for you without the full remote piece. So we're doing the best we can. We understand the desire. Well, some of us understand the desire. I understand the desire that I want to go to work and I want to be with these people.
Man, David's making me cry on a webinar, people. I mean, it's just been really coming full circle. I mean, it's true, and I'm out of time, which is just, this is a sign of how great these people are and how great this community is, and how much you know, people want to be a part of this community. There's still a ton of questions in chat that are coming in asking about individual positions and areas. Again, that is the benefit of working for a company with the breadth and depth of like Booz Allen, because probably all of those one-offs, hey, are you hiring here, here, here? The answer is probably yes. So just look at their website. We have the careers.boozallen.com, you know, URL up here. So search the site. This is where research comes a long way. Again, a lot of the chatters about how do I get a job, researching the company, and Booz Allen provides a ton of great content about what it is like to work there. So you don't need to go in blind knowing what you're coming. Again, you're on this webinar, so you've heard from these amazing people who make me cry on webinars. And then you also have a lot of content that the team is releasing and producing, and that's a great way to stand out. So in addition to that, though, kind of Stephanie, walk us through a little bit of the hiring process. If folks find a position, can you direct us a little bit more about that journey?
And Stephanie, I could take that one if you want. So we have a very candidate experience focused approach, candidate centric approach. And we did that because we asked candidates about their experience a few years ago, and we heard the good, bad, and the ugly, right? And we had to, one of the things we heard was, and this should come as no surprise to anyone, but people wanted a more transparent process where they were able to actually reach another human being and see what is the next step, where am I, what is the status, right? So at every single part of this process, we have built in high communication, high touch, making sure that the candidates are aware as they're going through the process, what their status is, and that they can always reach to someone. Again, this market is really defining the way that we have to hire. We have to do it quickly. We have to be very engaging, right? And make sure that the candidates know that we care. And again, in a timely fashion. We are losing people sometimes within 24, 48 hours of a candidate coming into our door. So again, the whole experience is really around being candidate centric, and again, offering that experience and that transparency.
Can I double down on something here, Serene? So something I've been hearing a lot about, like, how do I get, you know, how do I be successful? How do I get a job here? So like, even if your skills aren't a perfect match, we love, hey, I'm a SIGINT analyst and I want to get into cloud. And like, don't be afraid to take another position with Booz Allen, because just because you're a SIGINT analyst doesn't mean you're shut out of the digital side of the world, right? We need those people who can make the ties to, this is the mission, this is how the software needs to work, or this is how this has to happen. Those people are incredibly rare. So don't be afraid that, oh, this position says cloud owned. Like, don't, you know, reach out. I mean, a lot of times they'll have reach out to the recruiter and go like, hey, I'm interested, just talk to me about this, and we will.
Well, and that's where that consultant client approach really benefits too, because like I said, you need expertise across a lot of the different sectors. So if you're partnering and trying to come up with an innovative solution, like you said, that SIGINT experience is actually gonna give you expertise and insight that you might not get from someone who has cloud and has never lived outside of a cloud in his life and doesn't know what is outside of the cloud, whatever the cloud is, David. But on that, like I get to the end of the time. This has been an incredible conversation. I so appreciate all of your time and taking the time to chat with us. And again, I appreciate the attendees. Your engagement really makes a difference. I mean, I think it's helpful for us here on the webinar to know that folks are interested in these positions. The enthusiasm, again, on these calls is contagious, and I love chatting with all of you. Was there anything else that kind of final notes or anything that I didn't, that we didn't get to that I was supposed to today? I just have to like have a last chance for romance, make sure. On that note, again, we have your contact information if you signed up. Thank you again so much for participating and joining the webinar. Again, we appreciate your time. If we didn't get to your question, we will get to it later. And Kirsten, Stephanie, David, Serene, thank you for being such great folks to really speak about the Booz Allen mission. And again, this might be the first time I almost cried on a webinar, David, and I've done a lot. I mean, he wanted to be with his family, people, and Booz Allen is his family. Why don't you want to join that community, everyone? On that note, have a lovely afternoon. Happy Wednesday, and thank you so much. Go Booz Allen.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.